This is Outnumbered, and I'm Melissa Francis, here today, Town Hall editor and Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, attorney and Fox News contributor Emily Compagno, syndicated radio host and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and joining us today, former White House press secretary for George W. Bush and Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer. Leslie, that's an interesting point because, in fact, Vice President Biden used that viciousness that we've seen from Democrats where they have torn to shreds whoever the candidate was on a personal basis, have made it, really something that you have to decide with you and your family. Are you willing to risk everything to go forward to serve your country and be on the Supreme Court? It didn't used to be like this, but then Joe Biden turns around and he uses that as his reasoning for not putting his list out there, that then his people would become, subject to this treatment. Do you think that's a good idea, or has the president struck on something smart, making it a marketing tool during an election? By the way, just so you know ahead of time, if you're going to vote for me, here's the menu of judges that I'm going to be choosing from. If you like that, let me know and vote for me. Should Biden do the same thing?
It's a marketing tool on both sides. Joe Biden putting out a list at this point is futile. I mean, one, he is not president yet, might be, hopefully for my side, the Democrats in November, he will be. Two, looking at the court, will there be another vacancy soon or in the first 4, or if he is reelected, 8 years of his presidency? But using it as a marketing tool is smart, because I got to tell you, Republicans might be united and unified, as the president says, but they're not united and unified to listening to the American people, because the American people, the latest polls show, are united in over 60% saying wait till after the election to put this replacement on the court. Half of Republicans are saying that. And by the way, we Democrats want to thank the Republicans, because this has put a match under the butt of some voters who maybe were apathetic and not planning to vote in November. But certainly this issue as a marketing tool is helping to energize and create that enthusiasm that was lacking for my party on the left, for the Biden-Harris ticket, and for some of those state races as well.
That sounds like good marketing to me. We'll see if that comes true. In the meantime,
Melissa, can I jump in for 1 second?
Sure.
Thank you. Two things. As a Democrat, I consider 6-3, whether it's a liberal court or a conservative court, packing the court, one. And two, if Joe Biden puts out a list with just one name, and that name is Michelle Obama, Republicans will wish they never asked for that list. And Republicans will lose in the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office.
Okay.
Yeah, so Leslie, Joe Biden needs momentum on his side. He needs some enthusiasm. President Trump has the enthusiasm on his side. But take a look at what he said about Wisconsin voters in his pitch to them to try and win on Election Day.
If you could address our camera directly, talk to the voters that are worried about socialism and you raising taxes.
I beat the socialists. That's how I got elected. That's how I got the nomination. Do I look like a socialist? Look at my career, my whole career. I am not a socialist.
But Leslie, doesn't he need the Bernie Sanders coalition to win in places like Wisconsin when they voted for Trump last time?
I have to be honest, when I heard that, not him saying I'm not a socialist, but him talking about beating the socialists, which we all know is Vermont Senator Sanders, Bernie Sanders, who did very well, by the way, in 2016 with Wisconsin, and also has a lot of voters, as we know, in 2016, approximately 12% that voted for Donald Trump or stayed home because of their disdain for Hillary and their love for Bernie, the Bernie or bust folks. And we need those people to vote, whether they vote by mailing it in or coming out. So I did cringe a little bit. But this is a very different year, 2020, and not just because of the COVID pandemic. I don't believe there are those secret individuals who are afraid to say, and they were undecided in 2016, that they are going to support Donald Trump. You talked about enthusiasm, Katie. If there's so much enthusiasm for Donald Trump, then how come he's not leading Joe Biden by bigger numbers in states like Texas, Florida, Iowa, Arizona? And when you look at the 3 states that put him over the line into the White House, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, Joe Biden is leading Donald Trump in all 3.
President Trump doubling down in his push to fill the Supreme Court vacancy, warning that there need to be 9 justices on the bench ahead of Election Day to deal with any legal battles. Leslie, I haven't heard any Democrats say that. If they have said that, I haven't heard it. Why is it that Democrats aren't saying go vote in person? It makes it seem like you all are afraid of that and feel like you need the mail-in ballots and you need this other extra voting in order to win. That's the perception. Why not say go vote in person?
I don't agree that that's the perception. I mean, Republicans have basically been saying, look, COVID and the president for a long time, COVID's not as big a deal as you think. Go out in person and vote. Democrats have been saying, look, and Joe Biden in his basement for a bit has been leading by that example, saying you got to social distance, you got to wear a mask, you can mail your ballot in. That's the safer option, especially if you're elderly or if you have an underlying health condition. And remember, we don't all know if we have an underlying health condition. So no, I don't think it speaks to that at all. Look, if you just look at the numbers in 2016, mail-in ballots actually benefited Donald Trump at the time with seniors, where he's not doing as well with Joe Biden, another senior who was running, and obviously the absentee ballots with the military. So I don't feel that it raises an eyebrow, if you will, for Democrats to do that. I think it's in line with their message all along regarding COVID. And the other reason is because Democrats don't feel the same with regard to the unproven fraud of these mail-in ballots that Republicans and conservatives and the president has and the information that they're putting out there. The bottom line is, and I agree with Ari on this, Democrats and Republicans both want a winner on election night by a wide enough margin that it doesn't have to go to the courts.
House Judiciary Committee member Matt Gaetz is warning that former 2020 Democratic candidate Michael Bloomberg could be facing a criminal probe after reportedly raising $16 million to pay off the fines of 32,000 convicted felons in Florida in order for them to vote in November. Leslie, real quickly from the Democrat point of view.
I got to be honest, I looked at the law today. I'm not an attorney, did 5 minutes in law school. The Florida Rights Restoration Coalition is a part of this, and that's what Bloomberg is working with. The problem really isn't the money, but when you look under Florida law, third-degree felony for someone to directly or indirectly provide something of value to impact whether someone votes or not who they vote for. It's not just the money, it's further a memo, quite frankly, that the Bloomberg camp put out that could be difficult, quite frankly, when it comes to trying to help these people pay their fines after they've paid their debts to society so that they can vote this November.
Two Republican-led Senate committees releasing an interim report saying the work Joe Biden's son did in Ukraine constituted a conflict of interest for the Obama administration while Biden was vice president. The report claims Hunter Biden's position on the board of a Ukrainian gas company was problematic and did interfere in the administration's execution of policy. It also stated that Hunter Biden formed a relationship with the founder of Burisma and that he and his business partners' firms made millions of dollars from that association. The Biden campaign immediately slamming the findings, saying, quote, as the coronavirus death toll climbs, Ron Johnson has wasted months diverting the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee away from any oversight of the catastrophically botched federal response to the pandemic. Yeah. Leslie, real quick, final word.
Voters won't care about this. Double standard, 2016. Don't seat a Supreme Court justice until let the people speak. A new president's been elected. In 2020, you flip that around. But with regard to Burisma and Hunter Biden, that's not what voters care about. They care about the economy. They care about health care, which COVID is a part of. And now they care about a Supreme Court spot being filled. Yeah. And some people very strongly on the left and women care about Roe v. Wade.